Meet Robert the doll. There is no denying his creepiness as he sits in his custom-built chair, cradling his stuffed companion and looking at you with his button eyes. But it gets even creepier when you read the story of what some say is the world's most haunted doll. On Key West, an island in Florida in the United States, is a bed and breakfast known as the Artist House. This house is one of the historic gems of the island, and is much talked about, both for its architectural beauty and also the ghost stories. One of these weird stories became the tourists' attraction in its own right. Robert the Haunted Doll. Robert Eugene Otto was born in 1900, and in 1906 at the age of 6 was given a doll by one of his family's servants. The present was not given out of happiness or gratitude by the servant, as she had very recently been fired. The reason for her dismissal from service is said to be her religious beliefs and practices. She performed black magic rituals, and upon hearing this, the family fired her. The servant, originally from the Bahamas, presented Robert the doll. It was 3 feet tall, stuffed with straw, dressed in a sailor's suit. The face resembled Robert's greatly, but for the buttons as eyes. It was probably handmade by the servant, and many say that some of the doll's hair was Robert's own. This makes sense to some, as the doll was more than just a doll, but also a curse placed on the family by their servant. Robert, known as Eugene for his middle name, was extremely fond of his doll, and the two became inseparable. Robert even gave the doll his name, Robert. However, it was not long before family, friends and neighbors started to notice that there was something not quite right with this doll. They noticed that Eugene would talk to Robert, and that the doll would reply. At first they thought that it was their son responding to the questions, in a put-on voice, but later started to believe the doll was actually speaking. The house staff would also swear they caught glimpses of Robert's facial expressions, changing before their eyes, or moving from place to place about the house when they were not looking. The neighbors said that they saw a small person moving about, in the windows, when nobody was home, and a strange giggle could be heard when people least expected it. Soon Eugene started to fear the doll. His parents heard loud bangs and crashes in the middle of the night, and when they went into Eugene's room to see what was going on, they were shocked to discover furniture had been tipped over, toys mutilated, and their son hiding under the covers.
Robert did it,
was the general explanation for the mess. But Eugene still took the doll with him, anywhere they went, and it was very uncommon not to see Robert by his side. If Eugene went to play with other children, he would put Robert up on a window side, so he could watch. Eventually, the drama proved too much for Eugene's parents, who took Robert away from him and placed it in a box in their attic. After his parents' death, one of the first things Eugene did was to reunite with his childhood friend, and gave Robert the doll his own room in the house. Eugene was now a painter and author and lived quite well. He had married Annette Parker, while he studied art in Paris. When they moved into Eugene's family home, she took an instant dislike to Robert. Very soon, Eugene and Robert once again became inseparable. This drove his wife a little crazy, especially when Robert started to live in the bedroom with the couple. He would sit in a chair in the corner while they slept. Eugene died in 1974, after which, Robert was placed back in the attic. Annette moved out but died 2 years later. In this attic, Robert lay lost and forgotten, until he was found by a new family, and their daughter. Before long, the new family would have the same troubles with Robert as the Otto family did. The daughter would wake up in the middle of the night, screaming and claiming the doll was alive, and roaming about the room. In later interviews with the girl, she claimed Robert wanted to kill her. Robert was once again moved to the attic, but soon would make a further move to the East Martello Museum, where he made a new friend, Leo, the stuffed lion. Although he is kept behind glass, the museum claims it's for his own safety as well as the safety of visitors. Some staff have claimed that Robert will be found in the morning in a different position than he was left in the night before. Psychics have also found that Robert has his own aura, but nothing evil. This aura has been photographed. Still, his curse is present and can be put on those who visit him. It is said that, if you make fun of him, or don't ask permission before taking his photo, bad things may start to happen. In the museum, stuck to the wall behind Robert, are numerous letters written by those who believe they are touched by his curse. These letters ask for forgiveness in the hopes of lifting the bad experiences they have suffered, since not giving Robert the respect he demands. It is said that sometimes, Annette Parker's spirit can be seen in the room where Robert the doll used to live in Eugene's house, the exact room Annette hated. Could her hate for the doll, and her attempts to get between him and his owner, have cursed her to spend eternity stuck, trying to flee this room she hated so much? What is your idea about this? Tell us your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.